angles and relations. So this lesson is going to do a lot with vocabulary terms in relation to parallel lines and transversals. The key is some of these relations that we're going to be talking about are congruent, which just means that they have equal measures. This is going to come in handy when we talk about finding unknown angles. So easy math will be involved later on, but like I said, this lesson is primarily vocabulary terms. So when we talk about parallel lines, they are two lines that will never touch. So in this case, we have line A and line B are our parallel lines. As you can see, they're both horizontal, and if they continue in both directions, they're never going to touch each other. In the center, we have our diagonal, X. This is what we call a transversal. It's a line that intersects two parallel lines that forms 8 angles. So we have angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. For right now, ignore all of the colors on this diagram because that'll go with our vocabulary terms that we're about to discuss. So the first term is what we call interior angles. They are angles that lie in between the parallel lines. So if I'm looking at line A and line B, the angles that are inside or in between those two parallel lines are 3, 4, 5, and 6. For our next term, we have exterior angles. Exterior angles are angles that lie outside of the parallel lines. So for this example, they would be 1, 2, 7, and 8. Moving on, we have alternate interior angles. These are two angles that lie between the parallel lines, so they have to be inside, and are alternate sides of the transversal. So we have 3 and 6. They're both green and they're circled, so that tells me that they are a pair of alternate interior angles. They're both inside the parallel lines. One is above and to the left of the transversal, the other is below and to the right. Our second set of alternate interior angles would then be 4 and 5. Again, they're both inside our parallel lines and alternate to the transversal. This one is top right, and this one would be bottom left. Our next definition is alternate exterior angles. These are two angles that lie outside of the parallel lines and are alternate sides of the transversal. So similar to alternate interior, only these are the ones that are outside. So above or below the two that we're talking about. So that gives us 1, 2, 7, and 8. If I look at angle 1, the one that is alternate to the transversal is angle 8. So that's why they're both represented by a blue star. If I look at angle 2, if that one is above and to the right, the one below and to the left would be angle 7. So 2 and 7 are the other alternate exterior angles. Our next set of angles are corresponding, and corresponding angles are two angles on the same side of the transversal and in the same location of each parallel line. So if I'm looking at angle 1, it's above its respective parallel line and to the left of the transversal. If I look at line B, the one that's above above and to the left would be angle 5. So 1 and 5 are corresponding angles. If I look at angle 2, it's above and to the right of the transversal. The other one that's above and to the right would be angle 6. So angle 2 and 6 are corresponding. If I continue that pattern, below and to the left would be 3 and 7, and below and to the right would be 4 and 8. So we have 4 sets of corresponding angles. And the last vocab term for this lesson are vertical angles. When we talk about vertical angles, they are angles that are alternate that form from two intersecting straight lines. So we look at an individual parallel line and the transversal that cuts through it. So if I look just at line A and transversal X, alternate that intersection. So 1 and 4 would be alternate. They're directly opposite, or catty-corner. So those would be a pair of vertical lines. And we have 2 and 3. If we look at line B and our transversal, again, you're looking for angles that are directly opposite each other. So 6 is directly opposite 7. That means that they're vertical. And 5 is directly opposite angle 8, which means that they are vertical as well. When we talk about these congruent measures, if you have any of these 4, alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding and vertical, these pairs that they are for those respective vocabulary terms are all going to be congruent. So if we're talking about 3 and 6, they are congruent, meaning that angle 3 has the exact same measure as angle 6. Angle 4 has the exact same as angle 5. Angle 2 has the exact same as angle 7, so on and so forth. This, like I said, is going to come into play when you have to find the values of unknown angles in relations to parallel lines and a transversal, which we will discuss in the topic of finding unknown angles later on.